These are crazy times we're living in.
Uh,
So,
you know, I tend to be, fairly optimistic, but yeah, a little bit of a crazy time that we're living in. We're just making sure. Give us just a second to actually get live across the internets, and we will tell you about it here as soon as we are up and running. Okay, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. There we go. We're doing it. Did I turn that one on? There we go. Okay. I believe we are there. All right. So,
right.
one of the biggest pieces of news that's come out since, unfortunately, the student loan forgiveness thing just has not materialized into anything. So we thought that might be the big piece of news in 2021 is that we would say, hey, look at that, the government did forgiveness of $50,000 or $10,000. We realize that's pretty controversial. Not everybody agrees with that, but it's not controversial at all since it didn't happen. That would have been something that at least somebody would have celebrated.
Right. And I guess maybe now's the time for me to announce that I'm now considering forgiving $100,000 of everyone's student loan, if that buys me anything. So I guess maybe we'll see if that materializes or not. But that's what I'm saying right now.
I mean, it's pretty much just an election talking point. What's funny is it just kind of stopped.
Yeah.
Like nobody said no. It was just like, hey, look over here, shiny thing.
Right.
And they're really, I still see a good bit of banter on Twitter about it whenever the government spends money on something else.
Of course.
That hey, this is this is still going on. And but there doesn't seem to be a lot of pressure or anything like that. Unfortunately, this is pretty much negative news this evening as far as what's going on. However, we do keep in mind that we are we're getting pretty close on the tech here. So we would encourage you to be one of the first people to jump into the FundFly world and partner with your community to get yourself out of these dang things. All right, so Navient, it's a company I've spent a ton of time on the phone with, unfortunately, between my wife and I. They just announced that they are no longer going to be servicing federal student loans. And you're like, well, that's pretty boring, right? They're transferring it to another company. Why is that a big deal? The big deal is essentially the company said that they can't handle the risk anymore, aka mega giant corporation thinks that people are not going to be able to repay their student loans in January, so they're out of the game.
Right.
That's a really big deal.
So right, and that's and there's I'm sure there's a more complex statement or a more business or professional or corporate-y sounding statement that makes it sound better than it is. But at the end of the day, in reading some of these articles, it appears that the government, the Department of Education, has pressured Navient to the point of, again, like you say, Tower, taking on more risk than they're willing to own, and at a rate that is no longer profitable or not profitable enough, let's say, for them. So they are getting out of the business, which, honestly, it happens in business all the time, right? If my business stops making money and starts losing money, chances are I'm going to want to get rid of that thing as soon as possible before somebody realizes it, that, hey, this business is losing money. And or if somebody's got an idea to turn it around or make it profitable again.
Yeah.
Right.
So what this means if you're a student loan borrower is, quite frankly, your life is going to be more difficult. Come January, whatever this looks like, you may not even know, like, essentially where your loan payment goes to, which, first of all, that's a pretty big deal. The second thing is these are just incredibly difficult to navigate. Even as the loans have been paused through January of 2021, we've had to recertify every month on our loans, which is like, okay, well, your loans are frozen or whatever. Also, you have to spend a half hour on the phone with 4 different providers every single month. Uh,
So Tower, what does recertify your loan mean? What is, can you give me a 30-second
yeah, yeah,
express?
yeah. So you're allowed to pause. They allowed you to pause your student loans during during COVID because of how crazy the economy's been, lost employment, everything else that's going on. And they still allow you to do that until January. But what they do now is they basically make you call every month and, talk to them all over again. And if you miss it by a couple days, you get charged a late fee.
I see.
So
Okay.
essentially, it's just a way that I assume because a lot of them have not been able to charge interest during
Right.
part of this. It's like, well, we can't charge interest, but what else could we essentially
How can we make a
make some
little
kind of
bit of
money?
money?
Which,
Hmm.
I mean, this is like I kind of get it, but that's also really not cool to, to be trying to profit off of that. I'm
Right.
definitely like I work in business. I'm a very pro business person, but trying to screw people on late fees because you can is not an ethical way to go about things.
Right.
And so it's been
Right.
incredibly difficult to like some of our loans have actually restarted in September, and some of
Hmm.
them aren't due till January. What people don't realize is you have individual loans. So like, you may have a $2,000 loan for the semester, and then something happened, you lost some financial aid or something. You have an $8,000 loan from the next semester. And if you miss a payment, all of these can go late. So it's like not like you missed a payment on your credit score. There's let's just say you borrowed for 8 semesters, you missed 8 payments. That smacks your credit
Hmm.
score pretty hard. And then if you
Right.
have loans with a couple different institutions, you're balancing those out too. Now it just got a heck of a lot worse. And essentially we got the bad news or whatever the news is that a lot of people are not going to be able to pay their student loans back. The big banks realize this and they're like, I'm not going to get out. Unfortunately, you don't have that option to be like, oh, I'm just not going to do this anymore. um, you know,
Hmm.
uh, if you could bankrupt out of this, many people would, including probably us, like right when we first got married.
Hmm.
Definitely looked at that
Right.
as a situation looked completely hopeless at that time. Um, it's just bad news all the way around. um,
Yeah. Hmm.
so if there's a silver lining here, number one, at least you know right now,
Hmm.
and number two, you can at least start making a game plan to stay on top of this. Number three, Fun Fly is coming. Tell people about what's going on. Americans, as we have said several times, are, as far as giving to causes, the most generous nation on earth.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
just people don't know. Uh,
Right. Yeah. The people who may be our position to help you, uh, they may have no idea what student loans mean to you and to your families. So, that's why we're here. That is what we're trying to do. Um, you know, it's these loans moving to oh shoot, I'm looking at
Maximus.
Maximus. Thank you. So in my estimation, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but it would seem to me that there may be a larger slew of fees might go up, right?
Yeah.
More likely, there may be more of them. Um, I don't know if rates can go up. I'm not sure. Do you know how Navient is paid on this stuff? Is it on? Uh, they hold the loan, correct? They hold some loans, but then they also process payments. So I imagine they probably take a percentage of that payment
Yeah.
uh, for processing that. So they're probably taking a larger percentage. Will be taking a larger percentage of the payment, which won't affect you, but your banks are going to look to recover that additional payment probably through a slew of different types of fees or an increase in fees, something like that. That's what I would suspect. Again, I'm no, I don't know, but if I was Maximus, that's what I would be doing, and for me to make that worth my while
Yeah.
to
And
take over that processing.
the other thing you may want to know about because you're hanging out with us this evening is you guys have been building this thing. What the heck is going on? When is the platform gonna be live that you can go out there and crowdsource to crowdsource payments on your student loans?
Mhm.
When does this thing happen? We're at work every single week to get there. Drew, do we want to share any details about just kind of the progress we've made?
Yeah. So it looks like you and I will have I guess, a preview, if you will, that we can have a functioning product to start dinking around with and debugging and kind of optimizing second week in October.
We're getting
And
there.
so that means probably November sometime, maybe mid-December, for us to roll out probably a limited release where we'll have maybe 1 or 200 different profiles, and for a month or 2 or 3 to get everything down, make sure that our systems are in place to scale. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
I've definitely had some people ask me on social media and that type of thing, like, hey, we're getting close, what's going on here? um, Again, it's really hard to build a financial startup, and we're finding out about that, but we found the
Mhm.
solutions we need. We're getting close there. And bottom line is, the last thing we would ever want you to do is open it up to you, and then you go out, you tell this amazing story to your community, and they go to help pay down your loan, and it's like, oops, it doesn't work.
Right,
And
right.
then
Mhm.
if you got to go back in 6 weeks and say, oh, hey, they fixed the thing, now you can make a donation. You're never going to get the same results that you would have gotten if the thing worked in the first place, which is
Right.
why we didn't rush this to market. Even we thought we were going to be ready a little sooner this summer, and that this thing was going to be a little bit more ready. We're happy to update you. It's super cool to see people have interest.
Mhm.
I actually ran into a couple people I barely knew over the weekend that told me that they'd seen Funfly's stuff online, and it
No
was pretty
kidding.
cool. And I was like, huh, well,
Wow. Yeah, I haven't
you know,
had that happen yet.
you haven't had that.
Golly.
Okay, yeah,
No.
well, I thought that was pretty. It was actually my 20th high school reunion,
Oh, neat.
and I had a
Fun.
couple people say, oh yeah, I saw that thing you're building. And it was not people
Cool.
I realized followed me on social media or anything like that, and just
Hmm.
thought it was a worthy cause, and so had some of those conversations. We're not going to give you something that's broken. When you go out there, you tell your story. Somebody gives money to help you pay down your student loan. It's going to go to your student loan. This thing's going to work, and it's taken us a little bit longer than we thought, but so what? It's thank God we are building this thing when loans are mostly frozen,
Apparently,
and
starting a business is hard.
well,
So,
yeah, inventing something is particularly difficult.
yeah,
um,
right.
we didn't do a coffee shop where it's like you could just go out and buy a coffee machine and serve coffee. There's a lot more steps to it than that. We had to create something that's a payment processing tool that's never been done before. That's been the really challenging part. Thank God Drew is an engineer, because if it was me, the internet guy, we'd be waiting virtually forever. So
Well, I'm a sales guy, so don't give me too much credit. I mean, I'm a technical salesperson with an engineering background. So we have a good team. Shout out to our web developer Hayden at Stab Software Services. He's doing a job, and he's been more than patient with us. So the three of us are working, I guess, as closely as we can, given the state of our lives now, to get this thing rolling.
yeah.
So
So
yeah.
that's the update. Seriously, we'll try to blog through this and get some more information for you, but please, please, please know this is coming. If you owe student loans that you pay to Navient right now, it's and it's even possible that you don't even know where you're going to be paying your loans in just a few months here. Do not let this go by the wayside. It can really mess up your life if you just don't have your ducks in a row. Very big news, and stay tuned. We are getting very close
Yeah.
here. You can be one of the first ones to see some progress and possibly pay off, one or more than one of your loans completely.
Mm-hmm.
If people really resonate with what's going on, and I'm going to be doing that myself, telling my own story and getting out there as soon as we are a little bit closer to being able to
Sure.
go live.
And we'd love to hear from you. I mean, we are uh, very interested in talking with you for 10, 15, 20 minutes here and sharing your story of student loans. So if you'd like to come on the podcast and talk with us a little bit, and maybe ask some questions, and share your story to give others hope, right? And also to put yourself out there a little bit, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
So just contact us at our email, drew@funfly.com,
or just DM it at the social accounts. We'll pick
there you
you up
go.
there.
Nice.
We're getting close. You can do this. It's pretty dang easy to be depressed about student loans. It's pretty dang easy to be depressed about student loans right now in light of the stupid news. But we just don't see anybody else that's even trying to tackle this thing. And as we've said before, big banks just have more or less said, we don't want to play ball with you. This is the way we make money. And, if this problem gets solved, that's maybe not the best thing for our own business model. It's taking us a little bit longer.
Right.
But you can hang with us as we get close on the journey here. And then I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to show you that pretty amazing things can happen when you ask your community for help, and that's what's coming up. So have a good night, and we'll hang again soon. We got some more friends to talk to, but keep your head up. It might look grim. You might really be feeling the pressure that these things are coming back pretty soon, and that it's even more difficult to deal with in addition to the money aspect. But it's not the end of the story. There's something else coming. And on that note,
there's always something else. Difficulty is always temporary, right?
Yes.
And I'll say it. So, I heard the saying is evil is always temporary. I don't want to, I don't necessarily think what's happening in the world is, certainly there's evil things, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, you know what, this too shall pass, I guess is what I'm saying. And just keep working, keep doing what you're doing, have hope, reach out to others to give hope and I guess receive hope. And, we're trying to do our part here too. So we're doing our part, and we hope you like it.
Yeah. All right.